ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Let's Talk. I know it's a little bit... There hasn't been too much difference in time between the last one, but today's Let's Talk is... Cardfight Vanguard Reboot sucks! No, I'm just kidding. No, that's actually pretty good. No, I'm just kidding. It's just another clickbait title, eh? And I am your host, slash... primary for STProductions, Storm King, otherwise known as SK, and this is my friend again.
And friend. Just call me friend.
Yeah, friend, sure, why not. Today we're going to be discussing the latest news that happened on the 13th/14th of March. And we were recording as of the 17th today, so only 3-4 days after that. Which is the announcement of the Cardfight Vanguard Reboot, Restart, Existential Reset Button, I don't know, whatever you guys want to call it. And yeah, just to let you know, everything that is said is our opinion, just an opinion, our opinion. You don't have to agree to the opinion, you don't have to like the opinion, but if you like it or if you watch our videos, well, thanks for watching our videos. And if you hate on us, thanks for watching.
I still like to crit sack.
Alrighty. Before I get started, there will be timestamps and a link to the Card Coalition article below. So we're not going to be discussing how it works or what's going on or the rulings. No, we're just here to talk about our thoughts and opinions of what was announced. So without further ado, let's get into it. So it's a restart to Vanguard.
Yeah.
Complete restart. Like
we're starting from square one. No, from zero.
Oh my god, shut up. Anyways, so it's the thing is, I haven't gotten into a debate about this, but you know, I've talked to some people, and you know, it's a toss up between is it a restart, is it a reboot, or sorry, is it a restart or is it a rotation? Because technically speaking, from again from BT1 to 17, and then going to GBT1. You could say that was a reset. I mean, again, Bushi wasn't really clear on it because they had that whole like, oh, you were making a blaster deck, but you didn't re-release Blaster Blade yet. Blah 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 blah. That kind of Bushi kind of issue, right? So, what do you think? Do you call this a reset, reboot, or do you call this a rotation? I'm still in the middle about this.
I'm a little bit of a mix of whatever it is, but I kind of want to say it's more of a reboot because they're starting from the beginning again with like new stuff, completely wiped.
Yeah, I think I'm on the side of restart, or reset, reboot, whatever, re-something, re-zero. God damn, I hate you! I hate you so much for that right now. But yeah, no, it's a reboot, it's a reset. It's just saying, you know what happened to Chrono?
Who's Chrono?
Exactly. What about, Chrono Doran?
Who's that?
Okay, there you go. So that's what's happening. So in regards to, and of course, again, our list of points I want to cover is over here. So in regards to the reset, do you think this is a soft reset or like a hard, just like history eraser button reset? Like, blow up everything. We're trashing everything. We're starting from scratch. We are, this server is not going to be salvaged.
At first I thought it was going to be like, kind of like a rotation, like they're just gonna add on stuff, but I think it's more of a hard reset. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think I'm on the side of it's kind of soft. It's like medium, I guess. I don't know, because the thing is, we'll get into a further discussion about this later, but they pushed everything into a legacy format, right?
Everything to their own categories.
Yeah, in their own categories, which will then be merged into this giant legacy traditional format, right, where like everything exists and the abyss is there, just utter chaos, right? I mean, with that said, there's they say that with this, cards are going to be more manga accurate, they're going to be more accurate to the manga closely, but that's kind of a little bit concerning because Imperial Daughter was one of those cards where it's just like, wait a minute, if we're following Imperial Daughter's original manga interpretation, she was top check and send to the bottom until you stop doing it. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe they might want to do like what Yu-Gi-Oh does. You know, if it's something like
Really broken.
really something broken, they might want to just slightly change the effects a bit.
Berserker Soul.
Yeah.
Berserker Soul. Yeah. Then another key aspect that we've seen so far from the prototypes and just like from the quick images that they released so far, and it's only like just the images of the not even a trial deck, it's a demo deck, it's the prototype deck. Yeah, it's what they show to people in concept or to shareholders, which is, you know, you are the Vanguards now, they're 13k base. That's, oh my god, we're back in cross-ride format.
But it's not cross-ride.
We're in cross-ride formats. No.
13k, but we're not cross-rides.
Are you sure?
I mean, we can go back in time if you want.
Oh no, my PBO memories. Oh man, I get to whip out PBO again. So it's 13k base. There's a couple of adjustments here and there. I mean, the most key importance is the 13k base. Like Alfred is a 13k base. I'm gonna assume that Overlord is 13k, but if they pull the whole no, Overlord is 14, I'm gonna be pretty PO'd. I will be pretty PO'd if they're just like, oh yeah, Overlord is 14, and then Dimension Police base 15.
I don't know though, but like if they're resetting stuff, like everything should be balanced, right? Everything should be a little bit more equal.
I should also be rich right now, but
right.
That's not happening right now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know, blah blah blah, that and all that fun stuff. Triggers. This is an interesting one. So all the trigger values are now plus 10. It's no longer plus 5. So, you know, whenever you hit crit, stand, we'll get to that. We'll get into that a little bit. Draw, heal. It was plus 5. Now we're going in. Was it you said about this? It was like we're going in values of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's values of 10, or was it Eric said that we're going values of like 8s or 9s or something like that. I forget.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's still 5s. It's still 5s or 10s.
It's kind of like scaling it as if it were like, you know, back then it was like powers of 5s, and then you would dish out more additional 5 shields.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like that, but now it's in increments of 10.
Exactly. And then the interesting thing is the shield value for the triggers now, or all the cards in general. But we haven't confirmed that, so we'll just leave it as is. But you know, the draw trigger hasn't changed, which I'm fine with, because if you draw, the draw in it of itself is a reward. It may not be a good reward, it may be a perfect reward, especially when you draw trigger into a perfect guard. It doesn't matter, like, hey, you draw triggered into a 20k shield, cool, but if you draw triggered into a perfect guard, perfect.
It's just the draw makes up for the lack of shield on that draw card.
Exactly. Crit triggers are now 15k shields, and then heal triggers are G guards in of themselves, i.e. they're actually 20k base shield values, which is pretty cool. I like that. Are you okay with like the shield values? I mean, okay, we're not gonna think in like the overall, you know, the premium whatever format thing. We're not gonna talk about that. I'm talking about like in terms of like right now reboot. If you were to say like of these shield values and these power values.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, just because, you know, back then with the previous era, we have, you know, all these 5Ks are just 10s, and sometimes it was hard to guard depending on like what kind of value of shields we had. So I like that mix of things.
Yeah, I agree, because you know, back before we hit G, you know, I love that whole, you know, aspect of I always calculate, okay, I'm gonna ditch this with this, or I kind of want to save this for later. And you know, you want to try to be as accurate with your shielding, because like you don't want to ditch. I mean, you can overguard, but you don't want to like, and I'm not even saying overguarding as in like dropping like 3 cards for just a 10k or 15k actually, but I'm saying, you know, if it's a 5k attack, you kind of don't want to drop a 10k. I mean, you like, if you have to, or if you want to, you can, but you know, I'm kind of like the whole like, I like to be efficient and optimized, that kind of thing, right? So going with that, stands have been replaced. Bushi's just like, no more stands. Sorry, no more new stands. They're keeping the old stands, but no more new stands. Stands have been replaced with a front trigger, and front trigger is plus 10 to the front row.
Okay.
And they also said that the front trigger is exclusive to certain clans. It's not going to be a rainbow for everybody. So you know how every clan had a stand, crit, heal, and draw. Yeah. Everyone had those. Bushi said, nope. You know, at least based on the image so far, Nova Grappler will have a front trigger. But, you know, will Kageros have a front trigger? Royals? Who knows? You know, this whole decision to say, nope, it's, you know, everyone else will have a crit, draw, and heal, but you may or may not have a front. What do you think about that?
I think it's okay, based on, depending on, like, how certain clans work. Because, like, maybe, well, I guess, hard to say, actually. Yeah.
See, in terms of, if you say, you know, oh, like, if you ask in regards to balance, that's not fair. Yeah. But because we're playing a card game, and card games are inherently unbalanced, I'm fine with that. You know, give each clan their own, you know, separate identity. I'm cool with that. You know, you give Nova Grapplers a front trigger, perfect. That's fine. You know, that makes them, you know, it just makes that. Hopefully that whole trade-off of, oh, you have this, therefore you can't do this, but you can still do this, but I have this but you can't do that. That kind of like whole trade-off, right? You know, that whole aspect of in-card game interaction and yada 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 blah blah blah. I have this, you don't. I play with this strategy, you can't play with that strategy, but I have to deal with your strategy, that kind of thing, right? I like that. All the triggers so far are just, you know, they're vanillas, they're generic, they don't do anything, which is not to say that in the future they won't do something. Yeah. You know, who's to say that they won't have, like, the send to soul ones, or, you know, if you attack, they go to soul, or, you know, you play it and then they go back to the deck or whatever. Who's to say? I don't know. Who's to say that? And the best thing about the front trigger, which I had to dig around, the front trigger is a non-targeting trigger.
It's a non-targeting?
Non-targeting. So therefore, once you reveal or drive check a front trigger, so every other trigger says, is written in the rulebooks, which says you have to select a unit to give the power to. Front trigger
is literally just the
front row. So therefore, you know, units. So I'm gonna take Gize into example. You know how Gize says you can't target your units with anything or like at all. Mm-hmm. Basically, front trigger says it doesn't matter. I'm not targeting, so it applies.
Okay.
Front triggers will also apply to every Vanguard. So Legion.
Huh.
You're gonna have you know, you're attacking for 21, you're gonna attacking for 41, so it applies as well. So again, it applies to everything in the front row. So with that being said, I think that this isn't a power creep because you can tell that it's not exactly a power creep. It's definitely more of a balance. It's crept in terms of triggers. Mm-hmm. But, you know, because triggers are kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to explain right now, but, like, I feel like I'm good with this, especially when they say, oh, we're going to rebalance everything, 30k Vanguards, triggers plus 10k, adjust the shield values here and there. Like, do you think that it's a power balance, or do you think it's a power creep in some other way?
I at first I thought it was a power creep, but then I thought about, they're basically resetting everything, so this is the way they want it to work now. So basically, when you think about it, this is the new standard. This is how it should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to see as it develops, because, you know, we're going back to the you weren't playing at that point, but we're playing back to the whole King of Knights, Descent of the King of Knights format, where it's just like you had Kagero, Novas, and Oracle think tanks, and of course you had Royals, and we're just like, okay, we're gonna be playing this for the next, you know, 6 months, 8 months. Oh man, the meta's only gonna be Royals and Kageros. Okay. Then, of course, the most interesting part. So, other than the adjust shield values, the adjusted power values, 13k bases, blah blah blah, this and this sort, is the new mechanic of gifts.
Gifts?
Gifts. Not gifts as in GIFs, I mean gifts as in present. Gifts as in presents. Now, when we read over gifts, you know, about the whole Protect Axel force, what was your initial thoughts of them? What'd you think?
I had mixed feelings about it. I could say, like, it provides more variety of plays. Mm-hmm. Like, I can see what they're gonna do with it, but it's hard to say right now.
I think for myself, the reason why I like gifts, or I like the fact that, the fact that we're getting strides is, strides were fun. I'm not saying that they were bad. They were not bad.
They're okay for me.
They're kind of broken sometimes. Anyways, strides were not bad, but the fact that we no longer have strides and we brought it back to a 3 game really makes me happy, because back then when you played back then for Vanguard, your 3 was everything. It was your winning image, as it were, or whatever. Or basically, or if you're funny like me, 3s also determined your tech builds. You could go into different tech builds. You could do like, this guy's playing is playing a pretty aggressive deck. Well, I have a defensive 3 for that, so I'm gonna go into that first.
Yeah.
Or if I knew the guy was playing some kind of whatever deck and I had an aggressive 3, I'd be like, I'm gonna go into the aggressive 3 first. Like for example, if I knew I was gonna play a slow game, I would play Garmor. I play Garmor and be like, okay,
or you could be like me. I just wanted to play Schwarzschild because I had no money.
Yeah, there's also that, which is unfortunate. And then I switched over into Ezel, and then people were just like, play Pelennor, and I'm like, I'm not a gambler. I don't play Pelennor. I gamble hard, but I don't gamble that hard. Now, is this true or not? Now, this is your opinion, and I want to ask it. Do you believe that as of right now, in terms of G format, 3s are just fodder, and they do nothing?
Yeah, in my opinion, 3s are fodders.
3s are fodders.
I have no use for like my 3s most of the time, unless they have a stride skill linked to it.
Yeah, but even then, like the stride skill is just a it's a stride bonus. They call it a bonus.
Because most of the time you're using your grade 4s. There's no reason to use your grade 3s unless you're getting to your grade 4.
Yeah, no, I hate how the 3 that, I'm not saying that I was obsessed with the 3s, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I hate how we went from, the 3s are good, or they're meant to be, they helped you choose, and especially when they had, like, rearguard abilities. Again, the 3s back then, in terms of rearguard abilities, are not as good as the 3s now in G format in terms of rearguard abilities, but they still had, you still had a choice, and you still could, like, do something with them, right? But then but now it's kind of like, you have to keep the 3 in the hand, or otherwise you don't have stride fodder or perfect guard fodder.
Yeah.
And, in terms of that, the gift system for myself, mechanic?
I guess mechanic.
I think it's okay, and just to reiterate, the system is, Axel gives you an extra rearguard circle. Narutomis are laughing right now, because they're like, ooh, extra rearguard circles?
Oh boy.
Protect, they haven't exactly explained that so far. And then you have Force, which is just like constant trigger on premise, trigger power on premise. So that's whatever. They've also adjusted certain things. So the mulligan they've changed up. How do you feel in terms of, instead of send back your 3, it was send, shuffle, draw. Now it's send, draw, shuffle.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, because then it just makes sure that like you don't redraw some of the same cards.
Okay. I'm okay with that too. G assist has changed in terms of you're no longer removing 2 from the G zone, which, if you ask me, I've never liked G assist, or now it just be called assist, because there's no G in the next format, right? I've never liked it. I mean, I've it's good if you have to, I guess, but even then, it was just a pure minus. But anyways, let's not talk about whether or not, how it affected the game, but how do you feel about it just being hand-based?
I'm okay with that, considering that we're going into Reboot soon.
Okay. Yeah, no,
so, I mean, depending on the cards, you can toss away, like, whatever cards, right? But, like, if you're tossing away from your G-Zone, it's like, okay, you kind of have to think about what card you want to throw out, right?
Yeah. If this format goes into slower, like I thought it would be, I think it won't be as bad to assist. But then again, you do have like those when this card attacks plus 3k and it just activates, right? You have those cards that are in circulation based on the demo, so it's kind of like, okay, dropping 2 cards instantly and then 1 for the ride. That's a little bit too much if you ask me. Guarding is not locked base. Is not grade base. So you can immediately guard with a 2, 1, a 3, but it's a 0 value, which, okay, whatever. If you want to toss it. But that's brilliant. I liked. It helps the early game. Like, because the thing is, it helps the early game. Because it's not really so much about the whole. I was like, oh, you can play. You get to play 2 from hand or immediately. Yeah, but in the guard zone. Of course, the fact that I can only play 2 call out 2s when I'm at 2. That's fine. They're not adjusting anything about that, right? But the fact that I can guard early, and especially if you accidentally ditch a 2 or like you're 3, like early on, and you need to ride. That's funny.
You done goofed.
You done goofed. You screwed up. But yeah, no, I'm perfectly fine with being able to guard with any grade. Honestly, that addresses the whole the dust situation. Dude, oh right, you don't know the Zeroth Dragon.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Zeroth Dragon Dust basically said reduce everything to everything on field is now reduced to 1 and they have their abilities negated. So Dust basically said you can only guard with 2 with 0s or 2s, or sorry, 0s or 1s, and you can't G guard.
Huh.
Yeah. So this whole you can guard with any grade helps out, kind of, but whatever.
Yeah.
There's one final rule that they've changed, and I don't know. You've read it. I've read it. I've talked to the coalition people. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
The once per turn ruling. So if this symbol is immediately after an auto or act symbol, if the game state changes after resolving the effects, you will be unable to use this ability. What the hell is a game state change? Did I draw Exodia?
Maybe.
Did I flip over the table? That's a game state change.
I rage quit.
I rage quit from life. I took my opponent's deck and throw it against his face. That's a game state change.
Take their deck, throw it at them. You're a 3rd-rate duelist with a 4th-rate deck.
Okay. But if anyone knows how that once per turn ruling works, please let me know, because I honestly, I'm trying to dig around and it doesn't make sense right now. I'm not sure what they mean by game state. Like because the thing is, I think of title assault, when you attack and you stand and then you stand it, right? That it doesn't make sense, because like title assault is like, it's like, okay, it's once per turn, so how does game state change? Does it, like, maybe when your field is locked, like after your field is locked or whatever, you can't use title assault anymore?
Hard to say.
Okay. Now, because of this whole introduction of the reboot, we are now going, there's, of course, just like with the whole G regulation and then extreme fights, now we have 3 new formats, which are G format, which is only going to be here until November, which is basically what we're playing right now, or I guess what you're playing if you're not playing extreme fight, which is very few. Honestly, the amount of extreme fighters that I know is like just practically none. Well, I know a couple.
I don't know any.
Fair enough. Then you have premium, which is the vortex, the whirlpool of everything. If this was Yu-Gi-Oh, this would be like, Dragon Ruler, Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, kind of like painful decision kind of format, where it's like you have all those, it's like you have 40 good cards in a deck, and it's only 40 good cards, and it's like, oh, what did you build? No, it's 40 good cards. That starts in May, and also in May is going to be, was it in May, or did I get my dates mixed up?
For which part?
For the new standard format. Is it May?
New standard? I think it... No, standard just starts once
it's released. So
once G format is done.
So that's June then. Yeah, June.
So like premium and standard just start all at the same time.
Yeah. So that's that's June. So now we have the new standard format, which is you may as well just call it new cards only.
Yeah.
New cards only. And now we had BT cards, GBT cards, and now we have VT cards. So the only difference for these cards now is the new the new VT cards will have a V at the bottom left. So G cards are flag in the bottom right, and that's the difference. Alrighty then, now going into the product release schedule, product market, and all that fun stuff. They said, this is as per Bushi, they're saying the release schedule for Q4, in other words, Kagero, Royal Paladin, Oracle Think Tank, Nova Grappler, is in June. Spike Tachi Mega Colony is in July. Aqua, Grand Blue, Dimension Police is August, and then Shadow Paladin and, Dark Irregulars, Pale Moon, and Murakumo is in September. Now, Bushiroad also said this. They promised that as per the release schedule, boosters in their listed schedule will only focus on the listed clans. So again, going back to the release in July, Spike, Tachi, Mega Colony, only those guys. Yep. No, none of this this whole main character creep. That's what they said. They said that no main character creep, no more. Aichi has to be everywhere or whatever. What do you think about that?
I like it. Everyone gets a variety, or at least a chance to have new support, right?
Yeah.
It's not just focused on one clan or this clan. Everyone gets a chance at least once, or something like that.
I like it in that it basically allows focus. It allows a focus of just your release was back in June, and that's all you're gonna work with, and you have to think up strategies or whatever to deal with the release in July, and then in August when you have Aqua Force, Grand Blue, Dimension Police. Again, it's kind of like you're not getting new cards because you're not getting new cards, but you're gonna have to develop strategies and plays against these future releases. You've been warned. I like that whole I didn't like the whole every box had a Royal Paladin, so therefore it kind of or Gear Chronicle, and it just slowly edged their tech that much further, right? It slowly power creep them further and further because I'm main character, I should have a card for me in every box set, right? That's kind of
I agree with that. Yeah.
Will Bushiroad keep up with their promise? I hope.
Better.
Hey, Kidani stepped down a long time ago, but if his hand isn't in it as promised, well, maybe. Now, because we're being reset and there's no strides anymore, the ratios, the grades in each of the box sets or cards or whatever is gone from 4-3-2-1-0 to 3-2-1-0. Now, in terms of card market, strides made everything more expensive because it made everything much more sparse. It made it made the alt miles more sparse. It made the Chrono Jet Dragon Zeds more sparse. It's like those strides just made everything. It screwed up with the ratios. Now we're going back to when you joined in, which was BT12, Binding Forces of the Ring, Black Rings, right? Where there was a lot more. There was a higher chance, or not even a higher chance. You didn't have to buy as much to build your deck.
Yeah.
I think that's great. My hopes is that because of this, because they're resetting the ratios back to how they were. Basically, that's just the prices may not be better. Actually, I think it will get a little bit better, but it won't be any worse.
Yeah.
Especially when we went into the Zeroth Dragons or all that fun stuff. Do you think the prices will get a little bit better? Do you think it'll get a little bit worse? What do you think?
I hope it gets a little bit more better. Someone who plays casually now, in my opinion, it's not worth spending a lot of money. Even though I really do love Vanguard, I just feel like it's not worth dropping a lot of money for a few cards, right? I could probably do something better with that money.
Wait, you don't SP your deck?
No, I don't SP. I just go staples and that's it.
But dude, you have to SP everything.
do I look rich?
Maybe. Yo, man, you should have done what I did, which is have one of every SP in the Phantom Blaster Overlord deck. I had one of every SP.
Oh man.
Except for Phantom Blaster Dark. Except for Blaster Dark.
Blaster Dark.
He was hard to get. Now, this is in addition to these new boosters, you have the new trial decks, which have been confirmed for simultaneously being released with the Q4 box set, which is the Royal Paladin and Kagero trial deck, and then next up will be Aqua, and then Shadow Paladin after that. So this is my opinion. I honestly think that for every clan, they should have a trial deck.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe because the thing is,
that means new players don't have to go out and search for those cards, right? They just have
Correct.
a trial deck to play with. And with how they're structuring the trial decks now, you get all your essentials. It's not like back then where, okay, maybe you only get maybe one of this card.
You had to buy 4.
Yeah, you had to buy 4.
And
that's really crappy.
yeah, remember was it back when was it the BT10 trials with the what was his name? The one where you brake ride and then you retire one in the front row. Remember that one? That brake ride, that Narukami one.
Roughly.
Yeah. So and remember how you had to buy four?
You had to buy four.
Four just to get the brake ride and four just to get the 12k attacker. That sucked.
Stupid.
So these trial decks will also have they'll have four, like the Royal Paladin one will have 4 of Alfred Early and 4 Perfect Guards, which is great because like these trial decks now, like you said, it's now a complete deck. Is it the best optimized deck? No,
Probably not. It's good for starters though.
but it's a great sample, great way for players to have a grasp of the deck or even just the gameplay. Because but again, I still go into the whole point of I think every clan should have a trial deck, not just be like, oh, the popular guys or the pretty boys. No, like, hey, I know some people who would like a dark irregular trial deck, or what was it? Who doesn't have a trial deck? A Murakumo one? Yeah, Murakumo or Nubatama one.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, Nubatama had one. Sorry, it was the.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was the Dominate one.
I'm just going off based off old sets.
Murakumo didn't have a trial deck. And again, this is just me. You don't know this too well, but like Kidani is no longer in charge of product development.
Who's Kadani?
Okay, yeah, that's all you need to know. So in regards to this anime, for the anime, how do you feel about the original cast coming back?
I love it.
I want there to be a Dragonic Overlord, the Amazing. Do you get the joke?
Yeah.
Yeah! Come on.
Overlord every set.
Can I please have a Dragonic Overlord the Amazing? I just want that. That's just the one dream that I want.
Just the one dream.
Just the one.
Just the one dream. If you
For
had
Cardfight Vanguard.
Okay.
For Cardfight Vanguard. It's gonna follow the manga concepts and storyline a lot more closely. Therefore, we're gonna get a super edgy Kai, like even more edgier than usual, and we're gonna have like blacker than the blackest abyss Ren.
Can Kai still crit stack? He just pulls that one critical trigger, gets a critical trigger, and it just has
like
5
5
crits.
critical triggers on it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll let that roll. So, other than that, in terms of wishes and expectations for Bushiroad, especially with this whole reboot, what is it that you like? What point? What do you want?
My main expectation is I really want Bushiroad to involve more with the community. I'm just gonna take this for example, for video games. So take Call of Duty 4 remastered. The company that was designing the remastered version of Call of Duty 4 was talking a lot with the community to make sure everything was gonna go good with the remastered, so that everything from the previous was gonna stay in the new remastered, except for microtransactions. Screw those. But other than that, they followed a lot very closely as they were listening to the community, and that's what I want Bushiroad to do. I want them to interact with the community so that anything that they're releasing or anything what they want to plan, they can hear input from the community before they put it out, or just see what they can fix, right?
Okay, I'm fair with that. No, definitely for myself, I would like, on top of that, I think it'd be nice if Bushiroad interacted with the community outside of just clarifying the rules.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of like, well, thanks a lot about that, but like, hey, how about like, I'm not trying to be greedy in terms of like prizing, but like, listen to us in terms of like, Konami doesn't do this too much, but like, there's perfect space and perfect like room for Bushiroad to be involved with the community and be like, let us what you like, well, let us know what you don't like. What would you like to change? That kind of fun stuff, right? That'd be perfect. For myself, I would say no more gimmicks. No more shared gimmicks or attributes. Let every clan do what they do. Do them better and only for them. By that, I mean, no more of this whole every clan gets a whole grade 1 a grade 1 lock or a grade 0 lock, 1 lock, 0 locks. None of that. I'm done with that. No more of this drive +1 kind of bullcrap. No, like I'm not saying like no more of those. I'm saying keep it to only those clans. Those clans that can do it. So restanding Overlord only, drive 1 D police only, calling. Okay, so I'm not gonna go into the paladin kind of thing, because all paladins call is just like rewards based on their calling.
Yeah.
Or what they can do based on their calling. But yeah, I want that. Like, I don't want this whole shared gimmick of, oh yeah, you know, everyone has resist and blah blah blah, this that and the third, right? Stop that. Just stop. Keep those aspects to each of those clans, separately to those clans. Such like with what they're doing with the force triggers, but even like more, like just more sharper, more heavier in regards to that. I think we both want this, which is more balanced card market, which, you know,
yeah,
that's only.
I think it's a given for everybody.
Yeah, that's a good pipe dream. So because we are starting from the beginning, I want the power creep to be in moderation, because going from 17E to GBT1, that power creep was kind of like, it's pretty sharp. It was like, right? So I want like there to be like control. I'm not saying like don't give us new cards or like don't make these clans any better. No. I'm saying try to moderate and try to be like, make it better in moderation. Like, of course, you know, for example, like, if you're gonna give me a 10k vanilla and then a 12k vanilla, okay, cool. That's okay. That makes sense. That's okay. But then if you're saying, you know, retire Counterblast 2 to retire everything for free, that's a little bit of a power creep. That's a little bit too sharp of a creep. That's what I want. Now, final opinions before we wrap up this video. Overall, with the changes, with the upcoming releases, with what Bushiroad has promised, with us forgetting who Chrono is, who is that guy, with Kidani stepping down, do you think that this is an overall nerf or buff to the Cardfight Vanguard game?
I think if we're, you know, moving from a G era and over into a reboot, even though they're offering both playstyles or sets, I think this is kind of a nerf, just because they're rebalancing the entire game, and they're changing how it's working. It's not really like, hey, we're sticking with G era, moving into reboot, and keeping old cards, and, you know, all these new power changes. Because that technically, if everything was staying the same, it would be a buff. But because they're starting from 0, it's technically a nerf. They're rechanging everything. That's my opinion. Yeah, no, this is it for me. It's I keep on taking the cop out answer of like, saying it's both, right? But again, I feel like it's both a nerf and a buff. It's a nerf from where we're coming from, but it's a buff because we now have what I hope to be a better foundation, a better, stronger foundation, stronger kind of practices and development for the game. So it's a nerf to overall, it's a nerf to from where we're coming from, but it's a buff to the potential. But I keep on talking about potential. I don't like to talk about potential, but like it's a buff for the future.
A buff for the future. Now, with that said, is there anything else any final remarks you want to say about the reboot?
I hope I can still crit sack.
Of course you are. Of course.
I love crit sacking. I love crit sacking.
Okay, I can't wait to eat my friends again. Cardfight Vanguard taught me this. Fish are friends. Fish are food. Therefore, friends are food, so eat your friends.
I love eating friends.
So with that said, this is a STProductions Let's Talk of the Cardfight Vanguard reboot. Please feel free to let us know in the comments as to how you feel about the reboot. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What are you looking forward to? What do you hope for? How much do you hate this video? That's also welcome too. Yeah, I just want to know your opinions, because from what I've seen so far and from the interactions I've had so far, people really like this reboot. They really do. They it's other than people flipping out at Margle. Oh my God, Margle can't go into Soul anymore. I don't know. Is that worth flipping over?
Not really.
I mean, at least we still have Margle. But yeah, just let us know, and then like, share, comment, subscribe, and just give us your opinions. So with that said, I'm Storm King, otherwise known as SK, and your friend. Of us. Yeah, friends. Yeah, friend. Sure, friend. And
eat me?
We had lunch, so I'm good for now. So we'll see you in the next video, and Have yourself a good one.